Welcome to the Fear and Greed Afternoon Report for Friday, the 8th of July, 2022. I'm Michael Thompson. Every afternoon, we've got the 5 stories that happened today that you need to know about, so let's jump into it. Story number 1, the S&P ASX 200 finished the day up 0.5% to 6,678 points. That takes the local market to a 2.1% gain for the week, its best since mid-March. Today, the energy and mining companies were among the best performers. Gold miner St Barbara climbed 9.6%. Lithium stocks did well. Liontown and Pilbara Minerals were both up around 7%. Mineral Resources closed 4.6% higher. Gold miners Whitehaven and New Hope both outperformed. Iron ore miners BHP, Fortescue, Rio Tinto, all up under 1%. The banks were slightly down. It was a great day for tracking device company Life360. It surged 14.3% on no real news. Gaming group Sky City Entertainment was the worst performer, down 6.5%, with global packaging manufacturer Aurora next, down 5.9%. Story number 2, Japan's former Prime Minister Shinzo Abe is in a critical condition this afternoon after an assassination attempt during a campaign speech today. The country's longest-serving Prime Minister stepped down from the role in 2020 because of health issues. He was giving a speech in the city of Nara near Osaka ahead of upper house elections this weekend. It's believed he was attacked from behind with 2 shots fired from what appeared to be a homemade weapon. The shooting has really shocked Japan, where gun crime is extremely rare, just 10 incidents in all of last year. Current Prime Minister Fumio Kishida has called the attempt on Shinzo Abe's life barbaric and malicious and said the doctors were doing everything they can to save the 67-year-old. Story number 3, New Zealanders living in Australia and Australians in New Zealand could gain more rights under a plan outlined by the 2 leaders of the countries this morning. Anthony Albanese and Jacinda Ardern will work towards a timeline ending Anzac Day 2023 to introduce the changes which will allow easier access to citizenship. The 2 leaders held wide-ranging talks this morning, from the situation in Ukraine and the upcoming Pacific Islands Forum to skills shortages and deportation rules for each other's citizens. Meanwhile, Foreign Affairs Minister Penny Wong met with her Chinese counterpart today and was clear with Beijing about the damage done by its trade sanctions on Australian exports. Senator Wong said her goal was to stabilise the relationship between Beijing and Canberra. Story number 4, Magellan, the one-time rock star of the local funds management industry, is having a very tough time of it. Ever since a big international fund took its money from Magellan late last year and then its high-profile boss Hamish Douglass stepped down for health reasons, the share price performance has tumbled. Poor investment performance and a loss of mandates contributed to the fall. This morning, Magellan said it had recorded another month of net outflows with $5.2 billion leaving its management. Part of that was market-related, but part was people taking money away. Magellan closed down 3% today. The share price, though, has fallen more than 75% in the past year. Finally, story number 5 this afternoon. Britain is still recovering from the events of the last few days after Prime Minister Boris Johnson stepped down from the top job following 50 MPs deserting him. Mr. Johnson wants to hang around for another couple of months until a successor is chosen in September. Though there is plenty of pressure on him to go earlier, it is quite the hangover for the Brits. Not many people could polarise a crowd quite like Boris Johnson. Prime Minister Anthony Albanese wished him well and said he hoped the UK Conservative Party picks a consensus candidate. Former Australian Coalition Attorney General George Brandis said he was the most consequential leader since Margaret Thatcher, particularly around foreign policy. That's it for the afternoon report for Friday, the 8th of July, 2022. Don't forget to hit follow on the podcast and find Fear and Greed on LinkedIn, Twitter and Facebook. Join me and Sean Aylmer tomorrow morning for the weekend edition of the Fast 5 by Fear and Greed. I'm Michael Thompson. Enjoy your evening.